Hi, my name's Nicholas Governanti and working for SUNYAC. And here for us with our alumni spotlight is Peter DiLorenzo, who graduated in 2016, who was on Brockport men's soccer and still currently assistant coaches a little bit when he can. Thanks for agreeing to come on with us, Peter. I appreciate it.
Of course. Thanks for having me.
No problem. So for our first question for you, Peter, it is how did you first get into soccer and when did you realize you could possibly have the chance to play professionally?
My mom started me off playing soccer when I was probably two, like one or two when you first start walking, just getting the ball on my feet, doing little, kiddie soccer back on Long Island, New York, and peewee stuff. And I kind of just took it from there. I played other sports growing up as well, but soccer was just something that I always found that I loved a lot more than the other sports. And the whole professional thing didn't really come. It was always been a dream of mine, but it didn't really hit reality probably until college, where you see yourself competing against some of the country in this area, the state's best players, and I was lucky enough to go overseas and play in different parts of the world where, I know some other people couldn't, and it was a blast to do. But now I'm playing here in Rochester, and that has been a lot of fun as well, playing in front of the hometown fans. So
Nice. So who had the biggest impact on you, whether mentally or physically, to become the best player you could be during your time at Brockport?
during my time at Brockport, my parents, my mom would come up when she could on the weekends, but my dad, he would drive to Brockport from Long Island for a Wednesday game and then drive home the same night. But my parents have been my backbone, and my little brother as well. They've been super supportive of me during my collegiate career, and even my careers before and after college as well. And then the coaching staff is to Gary has been like a father to me, and he's still like a dad to me to this day. And at the time it was Coach Dom and Coach Vince, and they really pushed me to be the best player that I could be. So whether it was telling me that I have to be better, or just telling me in practice, hey, you need to do this and do that instead of what you're doing now, just kind of understanding the game and letting them tell me and coach me how to play. They've been the best support that I could have asked for.
Cool. So what was your experiences like in Brazil and Germany after you went there after you graduated?
Brazil was a ton of fun. So Brazil was the first trip, and that was being selected for a USA Division III team, some of the best D3 players in the country. We went and played in Rio and Sao Paulo, and the country itself is beautiful. Brazil is gorgeous. The coastal cities. We were in Copacabana Beach, and we were staying in one of the hotels. I mean, you wake up, it's just oceanfront, and it's gorgeous. And it was a lot. Yeah, it was a lot of fun. And the experiences you learn, the people you meet is all part of the experience as well. And the touring that we did, that was more, I'd say, for fun. Germany was more of a business trip for me. Obviously, it was try to land the contract and to go ahead and stay there for a while. Obviously, it got cut a little shorter than I expected. But just even being able to see, Germany itself. I was in the eastern part of Germany, and it was beautiful. You get to see different parts of the world is huge. But Germany was, like I said, a business trip. I enjoyed it, but I would have enjoyed it more, obviously, if I landed the contract for my extended stay. But
nice.
The experiences were absolutely amazing.
Nice. So, was it ever frustrating for you having a lot of your coaches trying to play you at goalie rather than your preferred preference on offense?
Yeah, so it's really weird. So Gary and Dom recruited me in high school at the state championships, and I was playing midfield for my high school. But for my club team, I played goalie. So they came to a club game and I was in goal, and they were Plattsburgh, I think at the time it was Waterbury. He was trying to recruit me for goalie, and I wound up going to Brockport and playing in the field. But it doesn't really frustrate me. I like it. It's a fun position. I was trained on it, but I think if I would have trained harder at the position, I would have been better than what I was. But I just loved being up top, and that's where I thought I would be, and it worked out. But I was always a backup, so if they ever really needed a keeper in the game or someone got hurt, I would just throw the gloves on, and still kind of know what to do. So
nice. What accomplishment are you most proud of throughout your athletic career?
That's a lot. Probably becoming an All-American in college. That was one of my goals to was being an All-American at Brockport. And in high school, I won a state championship. That was awesome. That was my goal for high school. For college, it was to become an All-American, to win the SUNYAC conference, although we didn't get to do that. We made it to the NCAAs on like an at-large bid. But becoming an All-American for my personal success, that was just hard work, put in and day out, which led me to be able to accomplish what I wanted to accomplish.
Was that during your senior season? Yeah.
Yes. I got the All-American spot in my senior year.
Nice. Was there ever a time of struggle or uncertainty throughout your career that made you question your commitment to soccer?
Yeah, I'd say probably going into like senior year at high school. There was like, do I really want to do this? And I've always had heart for the game. I always loved the game. There's just time that comes, I think, in almost every athlete's life where it's like, are we doing this, yes or no? And not that it was doubting, it was just more so of what if this doesn't happen? And going into that senior year, hoping to land a college like spot on a team somewhere is very stressful. And it was never like a doubt in my mind that I wouldn't be able to do it. It was just, what if this doesn't happen? What am I going to do next? Because I took my schooling serious, but I took soccer a lot more serious. And it would have been different.
Stressful, yeah. Did you land with Brockport early on in the recruitment process, or like later on?
It was a little later on. It was more like, it was like the middle of my senior year of high school. Probably, I think it was right before Christmas, actually. But because I remember I played basketball in high school, and they did like a senior day, and it was like, so maybe it could have been after New Year's, but they said, did you decide where you're going yet? I said, yeah, I'm going to Brockport. And they're like, all right, so they wrote that down. So, but yeah, it was a hard struggle for me. I didn't want to leave home, and Brockport, I didn't know where that was until I went and visited. Coach Don and Peach were like, listen, just fly up for the day, see how you like it. And then if you don't like it, okay. If you like it, well, then it was worth the trip. And I went there, and me and my mom flew up, and yeah, I loved it. Loved everything about it. And I told them like the next week, I was like, hey, I'm coming. And
nice.
It was amazing.
How have your experiences that soccer has given you as a player prepared you for coaching somewhat? Like, I know you said you're not fully coaching right now, but maybe if you ever do step back into it, how would you say your experiences as a player helped you for that?
So I coached the 2020?
Yeah.
So I didn't coach last year. I coached the year before. So whatever season that was, we won the SUNYACs. I was an assistant coach. And then work got complicated, so I took, just worked instead last year. And then this year I'm just helping out on Wednesdays with the physical training. But the way that I was always coached was, just work hard and work on the skills you want to improve on, work on your craft, work responsibility to defend them. But at the same time, you got to work on defending. So learning my position, and I think what the youth has to learn is learn all positions, because I wasn't just a striker, because I dropped back on set pieces to win headers in the defensive end, drop back into the midfield. So I think the importance of playing all positions and understanding every position is definitely something that helps me coaching, because I then can understand and relate to players who feel uncomfortable in a position they might not be ready to play. And not necessarily ready to play, but if you have a striker who you might see better as a let's say a right midfield player, or out on the side, or maybe even a right back, they're not going to be comfortable. And it's easy for me to then understand, hey, the uncomfortability and the steps you take to get out of that comfort zone, to play that position right, well, and very, very good as well.
Nice. So for our last question for you, Pete, is what is the best piece of advice you would give to a student athlete today? I guess it's kind of the last one.
Sorry.
Oh, no problem.
The best piece of advice I could give to a student athlete is you will get out what you put in. If you are willing to put the work in, you can achieve anything you want as an athlete. Grades are important, again, student first, but if you wanted to play at another level after college, you can. You just have to put that much more work into it. I would wake up in the mornings and go swimming. From swimming, I would go to lift session. From lift, I'd go to breakfast, class, studies, back to the gym, practice, studies, dinner. It was a very
packed schedule.
It was crazy. I felt like I put myself in a position to be the best I could be. Now, we did the soccer team at Brockport. We worked out with the gymnastics coach in like the off season to work on plyometrics and different stabilizer muscles, and the workouts were crazy, but they were also at 6 o'clock in the morning. Who's waking up at 6 to go to a workout or to go swim? Most college kids are trying to catch as much sleep as they can, right? So my advice again is just to work as hard as you can 100% of the time. Make sure you get your rest days, because those are important. I remember times I go into strength training with our strength coach Ed, and he'd have to escort me out of the gym because he's like, you just have to rest, and we don't want you to overwork. So just make sure that you are putting as much work as you can into yourself. Think of your body as an investment, right? If you want to succeed, you have to treat it right. You have to do the right things in order to get to the next level. So
nice. Well, thank you so much for joining once again. My name is Nicholas Governanti, here with Brockport 2016 graduate Peter DiLorenzo. Thank you so much. There we go.
I
love it.
I appreciate it. Thanks, Nick.
No problem.